The market is setting up for an overbought reversal. I want to show you the setup that we're currently getting ready to short. I just announced it to my LPP team. So first off, I have a position on SQQQ. I'm actually down over $1,000 on this position. I do plan to add more once direction becomes more favorable. I'm really big on, I'm okay with taking a position early and it could go against me, but I only want to add more to a position when it's making me money, not when I'm losing money. So confirmation is key. I don't want to add more to something at early signs of a reversal and then knowing it could still sell off. The other one that I'm watching very closely is this overbought reversal on MSTR. If MSTR begins to actually gap down, this is my favorite one right now. This is MSTZ. Huge upside potential with very minimal downside. Again, markets are more bullish than bearish, so therefore there's the risk, right? That market sentiment is in favor of the bulls. But this is a setup. It's an oversold reversal. It's one of my favorite setups. And again, this little tool that I'm using right now is available on Webull. It's free. If you guys ever want to use Webull, it's the first link in the description down below. They have a huge sign-up bonus right now. With that being said, I wanted to talk about the market. What the heck is going on? What was just announced that caused markets to really gap up? I want to talk about all of it. I want you to understand what's going on. So supposedly Trump began telling Netanyahu to scale back on the bombings in Lebanon, right? But it's what followed after that really drove markets higher. Netanyahu just announced that Israel will begin direct negotiation with Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and establish peaceful relationships after instructing the cabinet yesterday to open the talks. The announcement follows yesterday's private call with Trump urging Netanyahu to scale back on Israel strikes in Lebanon to protect the Iran negotiations. So it does seem, right? I said it yesterday. It does seem like Trump did keep his part of the deal, valid. I'm all for calling out Trump when I believe that it's his fault, right? This and what happened yesterday didn't seem like it was his fault. It was Israel. And I pointed the finger directly at the country that was at fault. Israel started attacking Lebanon and started attacking aggressively, where Iran was like, hey, this was part of the deal. If you guys continue to attack Lebanon, we're going to close the strait and we're going to cancel this 2-week ceasefire agreement. So I could see why then Trump began to pressure Netanyahu and why this began to happen. It's not an agree or disagree. It's, again, based off of what is being shared that is being told, right? And I completely understand that this is an obvious sign of a de-escalation, especially if they do begin to stop attacking one another. That's all really the market wants, if you really think about it. Just de-escalation. Stop attacking one another. On top of that, Trump said today that he's going to make a major announcement today at 6 p.m., and I believe that's Eastern time. So I wonder if he's going to elaborate a little bit more on the idea of, his encouragement to Netanyahu to stop attacking Lebanon and how the ceasefire deal for the next 2 weeks is still valid. I know that he's openly stated that they are still keeping those ships really close to Iran and the boots are still headed on the ground because, again, if things do begin to escalate, they want to be ready to react is something that I would assume. And then on top of that, I thought this was interesting to share. U.S. and Iran to hold peace talks Saturday morning in Pakistan. U.S. delegation, J.D. Vance, Kushner, Wickoff, and then Iranian delegation. So I thought that's interesting because, again, when these guys begin to speak, if there is an actual update on, hey, we have made a lot of progress, there is a de-escalation, this could be a major reason on why you might not want to hold a short position over the weekend. Right? We're all for shorting the market when these overbought reversals form, but I have no intention of carrying these short positions overnight, right? We know that the markets are very delicate to any tweets that can be shared. So if I see an intraday play where it quickly runs up and it possibly overreacted and there's some pullback potential, I'm not afraid of shorting the market, but I do not plan to carry any of these shorts, not on SQQQ and not on MSTZ, which is an inverse short ETF. I don't plan to carry any of them overnight. That's a huge encouragement that we have for our beginner traders, especially with these leveraged ETFs. You don't want to carry these positions overnight. I treat them as day trades. That is get in, get out, make that money, and bounce. If the trade doesn't play out as planned, then guess what? Who cares? It's not worth, in my opinion, to carry a position shorting the market overnight, knowing how willing they are to de-escalate. The one thing that I do want to share is that tomorrow we have the CPI data report. Today we had a handful of reports that were released. I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about this because it's being clouded by the news that is being shared in the Middle East, right? But the PCE report came in kind of as expected. GDP report was terrible. And then the PCE price index came in kind of as expected. Personal income, personal spending, all worse than what was expected. And then initial claims, number of people that are filing for unemployment for the first time, also came in worse than what was expected. Tomorrow, we have the CPI report. And guess what? Not enough people are talking about it. Look at this. Our current rate of inflation is 2.4%. The forecast is 3.4%. They're expecting a full percentage jump. That is not good. I don't think you guys understand. There's no way that if inflation begins to gap up 1 to 2% in the next few months, that the Federal Reserve is ever going to start cutting interest rates, because cutting interest rates is inflationary. And again, I do plan to live stream for free this CPI data report tomorrow, 1 hour before the market opens. And that is exactly when it's going to get released. And that's when markets are likely to react. So again, I just wanted to do my part in making you aware of an update on where all the escalations or de-escalations are presenting themselves, the different meetings that are currently being presented, but also the different economic reports that also can have major impact to the market. We're so focused and narrow, we have tunnel vision on just what's happening in the Middle East. We're kind of forgetting that, hey, we have a really weak labor market and we have rising inflation. We have our own economic concerns and issues going on right now that can drive markets lower within itself, aside from tensions. So again, stay patient, stay calculated. Don't be afraid to take advantage of opportunities, but just please do not use leverage during uncertain times. Again, we'll talk about this in more detail tomorrow during the CPI report. You're not going to want to miss it. Subscribe to the channel, drop a thumbs up, and whenever you're ready to tune on in to our live training sessions, we have the link there for you. It's the second link down below. I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope that it earned a thumbs up. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team. Happy Thursday.